You're gonna need another one.
Anytime you're ready.
Everybody read the minutes?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to pay the bills August 26th. All in favor?
Aye.
The water update. We need the main replaced on 3rd Street between Main and South.
My suggestions would be to buy Fanny.
And then on 7th Street
Then we use the other one.
Garfield to Greencastle. From Garfield to Greencastle, the B&T is $117,095. We have $127,308.95 left in the contingency plan. I think we need to spend the rest of it on meters.
No, not what you're saying.
That's how much finance or
Yeah.
BT wants. That's how much we have. You're on the wrong page.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. Spend the rest of it on meters. That's gonna leave us about $10,000.
Yeah. So go ahead with them with the other.
Yeah, yeah, on 7th Street.
Yeah, and buy Fanny on that.
Yes.
Okay.
Makes sense? Make a motion?
You, Don, got anything to say? Is that all right?
Yeah. Make a motion that we approve B&T to do 7th Street from Garfield to Greencastle.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye. All right.
Make a motion,
And then you
we
gotta
have Fine and Sanyo
Bye.
to 3rd Street from South Street to Main Street for $47,000. And the thing with Fine and Sanyo is if they get done in 5 days, they take $3,000 off of that. So it could be.
They're figuring 8 days, but he said if they got it done any sooner, they'll get there. If they get it done in 5 days, it's a $9,000 discount on the bid. It's not on their sheet, it's on a separate sheet, that's all.
And they are also going to concrete it.
Yeah. Whereas on B&T's estimate, it could just be an open trench with gravel thrown in, and then the town's gonna have to be out the money to get it ready. I mean, we'll be paving either way because all 3 of those blocks are community crossings.
Yeah.
And the reason it changed it from 7th Street from Main to North is because, according to Travis, back in the 70s, when they built the nursing home, they had laid a new line. And he said it should be plastic and still be in good shape. And then another thing that you're doing, it's a 4-inch main in there now, but you're replacing it with 6-inch to coincide with the other mains that fit in this year.
Make a motion on B Fanny.
I'll second it. All in favor?
one motion you made for B&T,
Yeah.
that was to go from Garfield down to Green Castle.
Yes.
Did you include the balance to be spent on meters?
Yes. Yeah, about $10,000 to be spent on meters.
And we'll have some money left to do the meters on.
Christine's not here, is she? No.
Well, let's, make a motion on that one.
We did.
I asked it.
Yep.
Okay.
We got your earnings.
Okay. I didn't want to make sure you talked too quiet. I'm
Sorry.
sure they didn't hear you.
Sorry.
That's okay. Got it done.
Christina's not here, is she?
The only thing we haven't done is, well, the generator and that, down there. Is it going up for you? Okay,
Well, we're gonna handle that.
all right.
Brian, you don't know where Christina is, do you? You don't know where Christine is, do you? Because she has to be put on the agenda. Should we go ahead and go through that?
What, Christine?
Christine Marie, no.
Okay.
So,
99% sure you're not talking about me.
No.
Well, could you go ahead and
Yeah.
address the issue
Yeah.
in case she comes in tomorrow and
Yeah.
says what they decide?
She owes a current balance of $705.86. What I would like to do is have her pay half, and then she's got 60 days to be current, plus her deposit to get the water turned on.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
the water will be turned on after she does her half
Yes,
payment.
after she does her half payment, and then
Pays the
she's
fund.
got 60 days to pay the balance.
So is there a leak there?
No, they've never had water turned on again, right? They've only had the
This
sewer.
is the household on 123 north.
Yeah.
The water had been off for like 3 years.
Does that sound good? Make a motion to have Christine pay half, 60 days to be current, plus the deposit.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Could you second it?
Sewer.
Sewer's doing good. Cleaned out all the lift stations today.
Good. Streets?
No change.
No change?
No.
On water, we got that meter fixed, right? Or
The
in
water.
water, we got that meter fixed, right, the testing meter?
Yep.
Okay.
We worked down there today at the new plant, so what they were doing, but in progress.
That saves us a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Okay. Fire update?
Anything on my, got my letter by any chance, or?
What are you going for this emergency certification?
It's a, we can say, it's a fire executive training that is mandated from all fire chiefs.
Yeah, it is, the state law is passed where all fire chiefs that are appointed have to take this class. It's a 40-hour class, Monday through Friday. And it teaches you everything about leadership and fire chief role. It's networking, it's the whole thing.
And then later, it says he is the fire.
It is the letter stating just that he is the fire chief, and you guys saying that he is the fire chief of Gosport. He takes the class.
When do you need this by again? February?
I'd like to have it as soon as possible, so I can get registered and get into the class for February.
How much is this class going to cost us?
It's a free class, FEMA pays for it.
And do you have the copy of the emergency certification?
No, I haven't got a hold of Jeremy.
Get a hold of him.
We can't do much without advertising with them guys anyway. But advertising what they want. Because a lot of people might want to show up.
Yeah. Okay. Joe Miller's not here. Our lawyer did file a lawsuit today against the owner of 122 West North Street. So hopefully this will grant us access to go in there and clean that mess up. Sound good?
Finally.
Yeah. Where's Lee at?
Right here.
I think I'm the only one.
Might be another one, yes, dear.
While you're on that cleanup,
Mhm.
you get anybody else respond on their cleanups or anything?
There's quite a few of them that did the mowing and cleaned up, and there's a few that haven't, and a few that are trying.
I went back and we've been after Mr. Kirby for the last 17 months. And the fact is that the latest list of people that we brought, based upon the information that's provided to me, some of them are trying, some of them have completed the job, and some have ignored that. I'll be going back to send them second notices and following the statute. The lawsuit that I filed against Mr. Kirby, basically, I filed it because he didn't do what I asked him to do in 2024, and it's now 17 months later, and according to my calculation, he owes $9,000 in fines to the town of Gosport. And so I've sued him for the $9,000 and asked the court to allow us to go onto his property to clean that up, and then we will pursue him for the cost of the cleanup. Nothing else that we can do.
Now, the cleanup, will the town do it, or will we hire a contractor?
That's completely up to the town board. We do have, we could do it either way that we do it, but to the extent that town personnel does it, they would be compensated, and then we would pursue him for reimbursement. But this is over and above what we pay for employment here. But we have the choice to do it either way whenever we get to that place. Before we can decide on the timeline to do that, Don and I will have to go to court, and we'll have to show to Judge Hanlon photographs of the site, and she'll have to sign off on the order allowing us to go onto the property to go ahead and do it. And the ordinance does allow us to do that without going to court, but that's pretty iffy, and we need to go ahead and I'll know tomorrow or the day after when the hearing is going to be, and any town personnel is welcome to come and to the presentation. But
Have you been down to that house and looked at it?
I have it.
Put all that trash inside and,
Is that what I haven't been down there in the last couple of weeks.
in the last couple weeks, no, that's been done for a while.
No, the fact is that we need to get it done before some child's injured down there or somebody else wanders onto the property.
Yes.
So, well, we gave him an opportunity, considering his age and his service, to deed the property over to us and let us clean it up, and he ignored that, so we'll just go into those places. If we could too, please, while we're on the topic, did give me an updated sheet as to status of the people that I'm pursuing. I'm going to assume those people that have not done any work at all, I'll be sending out second notices to them,
Yeah.
and then the third notice, and after the third notice, then we will go ahead and file a lawsuit against them. So,
Don't
take care of it.
Okay,
Ready?
that's you.
I'm Lee Freeman. I'm Fire Chief of Old Valley Fire. I don't know, some of you guys may know me, some of you may not. Down at Old Valley Fire, we're having some issues with this new tax law. So we've sat down, we've asked Baker Tilly to come in and give us some kind of some ideas of where we're going to go and what we're going to do and what we can do to keep our budget or possibly increase our budget to be able to survive in the fire service. With that being said, that's one reason we're here tonight. I've asked Baker Tilly to come up and kind of give you guys a presentation on some options, and when it gets to that point, this is all her. She's a specialty in this. So if you have any questions, she can answer them, but this is Paige from Baker Tilly. Thank you for letting us do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry.
So my name is Paige Sansone, and I'm with Baker Tilly. We are financial advisors for local government here in Indiana. And all over the state, fire departments are experiencing, a lack of funding. Obviously, well, Senate and Rule Act 1, the recent legislation that was passed, is going to create even more of a challenge with the funding. So one of the options to get additional funding is to either create a fire territory or expand an existing fire territory. So that's really what I'm talking about tonight is a potential expansion of a current fire territory, the Owen Valley Fire Territory. So I'm hoping to answer any questions that you might have. So I do have this presentation that I'm going to go through, but I'm happy to take any questions during the presentation that you might have. So basically a fire territory is allowed by Indiana code, and it's a collaboration between any two units of government, two or more units. So as long as the units of government touch boundaries, then they can form a fire territory. So when the units create a fire territory, there does have to be mutual agreement to do so. Like, it's not compulsory. Nobody's going to force you to be in a fire territory if you do not want to be. Part of the fire territory requires the establishment of an executive board so that all of the units of government within the fire territory have a say as to the fire services and how those services should be provided. So that kind of mutual agreement is expressed in what we call an interlocal agreement between the participating units. The control of the fire territory does remain with the participating units, unlike a fire district that is controlled by the county unit of government. A fire district is really established by the county commissioners, and then it's controlled by the county council. So this is different. This is a fire territory where you all can maintain control of your fire services. So on page 3, why consider a fire territory or expanding a current one? This really is the only way that you can get additional funding for fire services. The statute does allow you to kind of reset your property tax levy. So whether you're establishing a brand new fire territory on its own or you're expanding an existing one, because you're expanding and creating a new fire territory, you are allowed to reset your property tax levy. And so by doing so, hopefully you're going to be able to generate additional revenue to fund your fire services. Most taxing units in the state are levying the maximum amount that they're allowed to raise of property tax, and there's really no way to go above that, except for, in this instance, this is a way that you can get additional funding. It provides an independent funding source. So a lot of towns and townships have, funding for fire services. But this is going to be a completely separate funding source that can only be used for fire services and can't be transferred anywhere else. It could help you provide staffing that you need. I know a lot of smaller departments now are requiring additional staffing, so somebody can be on station 24 hours a day. So this could help provide funding for that. It provides for the cost of fire services to be spread equally over the whole entire tax day. So right now, there's varying tax rates for fire services within Gosport and within Wayne Township. This would level out so that everyone's paying the same tax rate for fire services. And it's just really a better way to ensure that your fire services are adequately funded, and it could improve ISO ratings, and oftentimes we do see that, which could help lower your homeowner's insurance. Going on to page number 4, signs that you might need additional funding for fire services. I think all across the nation, not only just in Indiana, we are seeing a decline in the number of volunteers. So volunteerism is down. It's also hard to find firefighters because of competing salaries in larger communities. And so we see that we get firefighters trained up, you spend the money to get them trained up, and then they go to a nearby community that's paying more. So that's really one of the biggest reasons that I see. But other reasons could be population growth, or you have new development coming in. You are missing, or your run times are not as fast as you would like them to be, and just uncertainty with the run times. And lack of money to provide funding for capital, which would be apparatus, equipment, turnout gear. So again, we're seeing that the cost to provide fire services is surpassing the growth of your property tax revenue by leaps and bounds. So again, it's not just in this area, but it's all over the state. So on page 5, kind of what I think is under consideration, if you will, is, we have the Owen Valley Fire Territory, which is Spencer, the town of Spencer and Washington Township. Gosport, the town of Gosport and Wayne Township does touch boundaries, so that is a possibility that you could all combine to form a new fire territory. There has to be, one of the units has to be deemed the provider unit. That doesn't mean that the provider unit has sole control of the fire territory. That's not what it means. It just means that only one unit will levy the property tax for fire services and pay the bills for fire services. That's really what that means. So, for example, in the case of Owen Valley Fire Territory, Spencer, the town of Spencer is the provider unit. So Spencer is the one that accounts for all the funding and pays for all the bills for the fire territory. The next page is just a map. I always like to see kind of what we're looking at as far as the fire territory area. It's kind of washed out a little bit. It's hard to see Washington and Spencer, but they do indeed touch boundaries. And if any other units around that would be interested in touch boundaries, that could certainly be a possibility as well. We find that the larger the area, the more economical it generally is to the taxpayer, because you're spreading that cost over, a larger tax base. But so certainly you touch boundaries, so this would be allowable by statute. So on page 7, there is a process. There's a statutory process that needs to be followed if you're interested, if you decided to move forward. And it's a process that takes some time to go through. So basically, the statute requires that at minimum you have 3 public hearings in a short time frame from January through the end of March. So you have to present to the public why you're doing this, why it's important, why you need the additional funding. And that is really a chance for the taxpayers to provide input into the fire territory or the expansion. In order for you to get this additional funding, the earliest you can get it is 2027, and you would have to adopt this no later than March 31st. So there is a very short time frame to do this, but really starting now, just opening up the lines of discussion is a good thing. Whether you decide to move forward or not, at least this is an opportunity to start considering this and opening up the lines of discussion. So if it were to be adopted, then basically we would submit a petition to the state of Indiana. It's the Department of Local Government Finance. And what we would be doing in that petition is just asking them to allow the newly expanded fire territory to levy this additional property tax revenue. So it does have to be approved by the state. The next page just goes into a little bit more about the public hearing. So obviously, all the boards would be in the same room. We would recommend joint hearings. There's a lot of different timing requirements in the statute, but generally you'll have a hearing in January, February, and March, and then adopt it in March if you decide to move forward. And usually what we do is we have the same presentation at all 3 hearings where we're just presenting, here's why this is needed, why it's so very important, what services are going to be improved or maintained, or what equipment's going to be replaced, et cetera. And then the financial advisor can present how it will impact the taxpayers within the fire territory. That's a very important part of that presentation. And we would have examples of different home values and how that would impact the taxpayers. And then the fire department or departments can put on a presentation as to why it's important to them. So just in the early stages of consideration, I'm on page 9 now, you just want to make sure that as you're going down this road that there's equal levels of desire and compatibility to do this. I always say that fire territories are like a marriage, because if you get engaged and you decide to move forward, if you can't get along now, you're not going to get along at a later point. So just making sure that if you're going to travel down this road or even enter into these conversations, that you have equal desires of wanting to move forward with this. I talked about you need a minimum of 3 public hearings, but you could have more than that. You could have workshops with the public. You could have, town hall meetings just to get the word out and just try to gauge interest from the community and the taxpayers. You could consider, public press releases, et cetera, just to try to get the word out to the taxpayers. So talking more about the provider unit. So again, only one unit can levy the taxes and account for the monies and pay the bills. And this has to be identified before the public hearing starts. So this is oftentimes a point of contention, like sometimes the units can't decide who should be the provider unit, but it shouldn't be, because really it's just who is going to account for the operations of the fire territory. The fire territory, it's important to note, is not a separate legal entity. It's actually just a part of the provider unit. So like the town of Spencer, this fire territory is a part of the town. It's like a department of the town. It's not a separate entity. And again, I want to reiterate that sometimes people think the provider unit means that unit is controlling the fire territory, and that just is not the case. That unit does have to approve the budget, but that's after the budget goes through the fire territory executive board. And on the executive board, there has to be a minimum of at least one person from each of the entities, so that they all have a say in how this runs and how things are handled at the fire territory. So that brings me to page 11, where we are talking about the territory board. So again, you need at least one representative from each unit. You can have more than one. You certainly don't want to have an even number, because then you might not be able to, or you might have tie votes, and we try to avoid that. But there are other requirements. So for townships, the representative must be within the unincorporated area of the township to be on that board. So we have to be careful with those types of things. It doesn't have to be the trustee that's on the board. It doesn't have to be a township board member. It doesn't have to be a council member. But that is all decided upon in your interlocal agreement. So there's lots of things that you mutually agree upon before you would even go forward with establishing this. And again, important to note that the fire territory budget is not approved by the executive board, but it is recommended by the executive board to the provider unit's fiscal body. So again, I go back to the example of Owen Valley Fire Territory Spencer does finally approve that budget, but that budget is prepared and submitted to that council through the fire territory executive board. So on page 12, how is the property tax levy determined? It's determined based on the operating needs of the whole entire fire territory. There is a limit now by statute. The recent legislation that passed said that you cannot have a rate greater than 40 cents for a fire territory. So it is capped. Here in this area, you're not even going to get close to that because that is, probably way more money than you need. But what the typical process that occurs is that the fire departments would get together and determine what they need to adequately provide services. If they need to hire personnel, whatever it is that they need to do, and they would give that to a financial advisor like ourselves, and then we would determine what property tax rate and property tax levy would be needed to fund those services. And we come up with a tax rate based on the tax base of the whole area. So really, that's the starting point, kind of what do you need to provide services to this area? And again, it cannot exceed 40 cents now that we have this new statute that passed. So a fire territory is allowed to have two funds. One is an operating fund that would take care of the day-to-day operations, like salaries and benefits, supplies, contractual agreements with other fire departments. And that really is to fund the general operational cost. That levy, again, is capped at 40 cents. We do think that that levy would get an annual growth, just like your all's levy. The township and the town's levy gets a growth. It's been 4% for the last couple of years. It would get a growth until you get to 40 cents, and then it would no longer get any growth. The levies that the township, Wayne Township has now, and then Gosport, I know you don't have a specific levy for fire services, but the DLGF will calculate one based on how much you're spending out of your general fund now. Those would go away and be eliminated. So there is an offset there. Before a fire territory rate would be put on, those levies would be eliminated. So that's a helpful offset to the tax rate. The fire territory can also have an equipment replacement fund, which is very beneficial for turnout gear and just replacing general equipment or even paying for apparatus. The maximum rate on that is 0.0333. It's very similar to a cumulative fire fund that townships have. So that would just be applied to the entire tax base. And again, very, very beneficial to accumulate monies for capital needs. I can't remember what the status is here if you work with volunteer fire departments, but I want you to know that if you do contract with any volunteer fire departments, you can continue to contract with them. The volunteer fire departments don't have to consolidate, they don't have to disband. All that can stay the same, it's just who's writing their checks is what'll be different. So all of that can stay exactly the same. So just moving forward, I think the considerations, you just need to decide, is this something that you even want to look into, discuss? You could ask questions. I'm happy to answer any questions even after this meeting, and my contact information is here. If you do want to move forward, you will want to get an attorney involved just to help with the interlocal agreement and the establishing ordinances and resolutions. So what questions do you have for me? That was a very quick overview, but I can answer any questions that you might have.
Question number
Yes.
one. So it's got to be connecting.
Yes.
Gosport does not connect with Washington Township. So it's my understanding that before Gosport could even consider, Wayne Township would have to.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So yes, you have to have continuous boundaries. So Gosport couldn't even consider it unless Wayne Township was also interested. You're right.
But Gosport could consider forming their own territory.
With Washington. Yeah, or whoever you
With-
touch boundaries
with-
with. I'm sorry, Wayne.
Right.
I'm sorry. I misspoke. Correct. It only takes 2 taxing units that touch boundaries. So yes, you can certainly do one on your own. Yes.
Is Lake Hollywood part of Gosport?
Is what?
Lake Hollywood?
It's part of Wayne Township.
There you go.
cover right now, you cover Wayne, Harrison, and Garrett. Now, would we include all of that, or just say two?
So are you getting paid like a contractual payment from each of those entities? Is
Yeah.
that- So you could, like Wayne can join the fire territory, and then Wayne could pay the portion that you cover Wayne to you, and then the other two townships can continue to pay you. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
The volunteer fire department doesn't have to change, it's just who's writing your check. That's all really that has to change. They could come in if they touch boundaries, but they don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many entities around the state have you done this for? How many different times?
So Baker Tilly has done it for 35 fire territories, and I think there's about 70 in the state right now, so half of them. In my career of 25 years, so it's been, I can tell you that as of, I'm gonna say the last 5 years, there's been lots of fire territories established. Again, number one reason is lack of volunteerism. It's not that people don't want to volunteer, generally speaking, they just can't get off work to go, I think back in the day, employers were more apt to let you go on a run, but I don't think it's like that very much anymore. So we see a number of fire territories getting established.
So if you can't get volunteers, are you saying you're all paid firemen?
No, not generally, no. What I see in my experience, especially in areas like this, is that the volunteers will stay, as many as that can volunteer, and maybe just a few paid staff so that you have some on station.
And would all those paid staff be located in Spencer?
That's up to the fire territory and the participating units to decide, yeah. And that's why I'm saying you have a lot of flexibility when you create these fire territories, because again, it's mutual agreement. You'll have to sit down and decide who's gonna be in what station and all of that.
If I may.
Yeah.
The fire territory now, where the chief, if you guys join with us, we would have to be, we be one. So, well, our thing is to build us all up. It's not put everybody in Spencer. That's not what we're here for. We're here to help everybody. And, staff this department or whatever those cases need. We still have our volunteers. Our volunteers, like they said, they are falling off, and I'm a volunteer in this for 28 years. It's just, they used to.
So you're staffed 24/7?
We are not.
We're not.
We're trying to get to those steps, but a lot of it's, it's fun. And that's where we're at. And with this new bill, that's what we're about to amend, because we may be cut, so we may lose what we do have. And that's where we're at. That's why we're here discussing this.
No, I mean, we have land in Washington Township, so we do pay. I said we have land in Washington Township, so we do pay already. So how much will this go up?
It depends on what the budget is. Like, this is very preliminary. We've not run any numbers at all. It depends on what is needed, what is the need, and then we can calculate what the rate will be and how it will impact the taxpayers.
And that will be done before it's voted on?
Oh, absolutely. Way before, yes.
Debbie's talking about the tax rate, of 3 cents per $100. That's within the territory. Like Ronnie said, Harrison Township contracts with the fire department. That doesn't apply to them.
No.
They have set rate.
Right, they have their own rate. Unless they come into the fire territory, they will continue to pay their own rate and continue to pay the fire department. Yeah. And 40 cents is the max. I don't foresee that this would even, you would get even close to that here, because that's a lot, that's a lot. I was just letting you know what the max was.
I'm trying to get him up and get him Peter out of there.
Other questions?
I think what the main thing here tonight is there interest? That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Is there any interest that you guys may be interested in merging, should I say? I know Brian and Gosport Fire Department needs funding as well. I know there's things that need to be done. I know there's equipment. We all need it. Things are more expensive. Fire trucks are more expensive. It's 5 years out for a new fire truck. It's just, everything just more and more. And we do it together now. It's just, the funding's not there.
what you're talking about more and more and more, is that commissioners going to spend $29 million on a jail that we don't know anything about yet, and that's going to be top of our taxes. Right now, I got property in Montgomery, Harrison, can't drive up and down the roads on the back road.
Yeah.
Can't stay on the road. And where's it going to stop? I mean, I'm of the opinion that we need a county manager that overrides the commissioners because they spend money like there's no tomorrow. I'm 75 years old. I told my wife, if I die, she may lose our house, so she don't have the income to keep it up. I don't appreciate that. Now, I know all the fire departments, I know all these guys, I like them all, I want them all to be protected and safe, and I told them years back, I don't care how much they argue with each other, because I had a house on 3rd Street, with my granddaughter's in it, I want the fire alarm to go off, I want them at that house. That's all I care about. And that house could be any place in the townships.
Yeah.
So it's a tough problem, but I don't know what to say about
It
it.
is, and that's why we're here. I'm not here saying, pushing things. I just want to know about the interest of this area. I mean, we're all hurting, and we all have to provide that service. And that's where we're at. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get at.
Something else, just for people's knowledge. 10, 15 years ago, they mandated that we replace turn gear every 10 years, mandated we replace truck tires every 8 years, mandated we replace our air bottles every 15 years. And just for Gosport alone, it's over $100,000 to replace all that stuff.
And what's your budget every year?
Guess it's as good as mine.
Okay.
It's the thing, we don't have the money for anything. Our fire department's gonna go under, we either gotta join a territory or become a territory. And that's coming from the firefighter. We ain't got it, we ain't got nothing, we gotta do something about it. That's all
Even
there is
if
to
you
it.
become a territory, Gosport and Wayne Township, which is fine, is there enough tax base to do what Brian wants to do?
We would have to find out what,
The math thing.
Yeah, we have to do the math, and I mean, I just don't know, but that's.
Do we have the money, Donnie?
How much money is it gonna take? If you're gonna be in compliance with all the regulations, no. One guy's got the problem right now.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be compliant, then you gotta have 3, or you gotta have 4 people to go out on the engine. Have you got 4 paid people you can send out?
No.
Now, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand over in Monroe County that they're getting it set up to where eventually, when you have a structure fire, there's gonna be firemen coming from, I've heard 4 different stations.
That those guys are on call at the station.
They're on, they're paid.
They're paid.
At the station.
They're all into the fire district and they're all paid.
Now, we looked at that before, haven't we? Have a man on station 4 all the time? And that been looked at?
As far as,
Keeping one man on the station all the time. How much would that cost?
well, when you're talking all the time, you're talking a lot of hours. You take that, multiply by, what's it cost per fireman? 60, 70,000, time you have any benefits at all?
It's about 125 to 150,000 when you add it all together.
I guess if you're gonna pay prevailing wage, it jumps up pretty quick, but
Does establishing one of these territories, is there any extra federal money or anything that comes in to help if you do it, if you're going to get together like this?
Not automatically, I mean, just like any fire department, you can apply for grant funding, but no,
Just grants.
it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't automatically.
There's a grant out there called Safer Fund, but that's a 3-year grant application. So if you get awarded the Safer grant, essentially you can put employees on that grant. But if that grant ever expires or doesn't renew, then you have, for instance, if you wanted 3 individuals on this grant, we could do about $500,000 to $600,000 over the course of 3 years. If that grant doesn't renew, then those 3 people would have to be not terminated, but let go because the funding is there to support it.
Yeah, because that grant is designed for that 3 years for you to build your budget to withstand that.
Well, the way things are going in the country, I am surprised that federal grants come out at all. I mean, we're block grants. I just cannot believe that they'll keep putting that money out the way they want to spend money out there. Which they see. I mean, everybody is in the same boat. I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen, when's it going to fall apart again, and everybody is stocking up, getting ready for the big bang. So, I think that money's going to stop. Don't ever count on grants for anything. You can't pay for your own sidewalks or your own street signs. There's a problem. We need to solve our own problems, but this is a problem probably too big for this locality. It's small.
So does the territory get any local income tax money, public safety money?
So, under the new local income tax structure that's supposed to start in 2028,
I'm talking
there
about
is,
the one that's already started.
well, right now, under the current structure, the fire territories don't directly get local income tax, but the participating units get it, and they can provide it to the fire territory.
Okay, my question is, does the fire territory right now get any of the public safety money that is collected from the residents?
Yes, we do. The town does, and then the town distributes it to us. Well, the town distributed $128,000 to us for 2 employees. So, but with this new bill, how's that going to play out? Or is it still going to be there? Is it not? There's some unsureness of that.
Well, right, because it's going to be up to the county to adopt the fire EMS local income tax. If they don't adopt it, then no, the fire territory will not get anything. If they do adopt it, the fire territory could get a portion of it based on population and service area, square mileage.
So basically, if I'm understanding right, the town of Spencer is taking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars from public safety money and distributing it to the police department instead of the fire territory.
I don't know how much they're getting.
They're paying the police department's payroll, but that's the town council's decision. I've been there arguing. That's their decision. I mean, if you had public safety funds up here, that is your guys' decision how you spend that money.
I can say that, I know that the first year that the town received public safety fund monies, it was about $900,000. Now, since it's been in play, it has gone up more of that.
Probably over $1 million.
Yeah, that's my assumption. But we've received $128,000 for 2 years under that. And technically, it's their money to decide what they want to do with it. So supporting their police department, which they are required and obligated to do, is part of those funds. But
And that's one reason we're here too, is because we may lose that. You know, we lose $128,000 or $150,000 with this new tax law, we're losing people. And we run, and I'm not trying to knock anybody, we're all here for the same reason. I know Brian gets out of bed, and Matt gets out of bed, and myself gets out of bed, and Ron, all the time for our community, because that's what we want to do. We're here for them, and we can't afford to lose any more people. So I was just trying to see if we can help each other. That's the whole goal here.
Nobody from our fire station, on down to this state, Forest County. You're next on the list
We
anyway.
did it the other day.
Yep.
Well, what Ryan said was right. It's called unfunded mandates. You have to do this, you have to do that, and not a cent coming your way. States complain about it constantly to Washington DC, and the state does the same thing to all its communities. You say you've got to do this, and you don't put anything forward, to hell, it just doesn't work. The system does not work. And what do you want to do?
10 years ago, fire here itself was head to toe was $2,600. Now it's $5,000.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's doubled the price in 10 years.
Yeah, we were trying to replace 5 sets a year to keep a rotation, and now we're down to 3 sets a year rotation. We can't afford it.
Trucks skyrocketed. Couldn't cut a truck engine out of the door. It was $1.2 million to start.
We break it into, we're done.
Lee, wouldn't you agree that the system works right now to provide fire protection to the town of Gosport largely because of mutual aid agreements between our fire department and your fire department, and at some point in time, if the fire territory there cannot afford to continue to provide mutual aid, then we would be largely without protection at all here.
That's a possibility. I mean, I can't speak for the board. I'm not gonna do that, but that is a very good possibility. If we're busy right now, if we're busy on something else, because we sit in Center County, everybody calls for us. If we're busy on something else and you guys have stuff here and they're at work, we're not gonna be able to come anyways, as it is right now.
That's when you have to call for a different fire department.
Big Ron's our guy for the day up here. Just some stuff to think about. It's a lot.
21,000 people in the entire county.
Yeah, it's a lot, and I get it.
So that's not many people to pay a huge amount of money.
And you ain't got people knocking on your door wanting to volunteer anymore.
Right.
If I might add, I actually heard something earlier today regarding development within the town and in the county at large. We're looking at approximately an additional 500 homes in the next 5 years, as well as an additional 500 homes in the following 5 years. So by 2035, we're looking at an additional 1,000 homes being tax revenue, income tax revenue, as well as other forms of taxation coming into our community at large. So I know that right now it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people, but it's
Kind of weak part of it, there just aren't that many taxpayers.
There was also a statement saying that Owen County is the new suburb of Indianapolis because it takes an hour just to get from here to the airport, whereas it takes an hour to get, well, an hour and a half to get from this side of Indianapolis to the airport. So there's a lot of people wanting to come to Owen County, for better or worse, to live here because of the proximity to everything around us.
So we're struggling to try to get a building built for a station. Ours is broken. That's the nicest way to put it. Where would enough money come from to build a building and do it right? We don't need a Taj Mahal, we just need something that's safe to come and works for what they need to do. And do we have enough people that will be able to man it?
Absolutely. I'll also add that, our fire station is adequate for our needs, but it does not meet typical state code for a fire structure. But if I may also add, our goal, as me sitting on the fire territory board, I kind of see it as if Gosport and Wayne Township and any other township that wants to join us, our main focus is to get you guys into peak situational operations, so that you have a fire station that is adequate for your needs, to code, everything like that. Making sure that you have apparatus, making sure you have equipment.
Yeah, that's another.
We'll figure it out on our end as far as how we're going to operate with our funds, but we need to figure out how to make everyone around us just better trained, better prepared, better equipped, all of that. But with that fire territory, you would also have people from the town of Gosport, the townships of Wayne, potentially Montgomery and Harrison. I believe those are the ones that are contracted with you, if they were also willing to join, so that nobody has any power over each other. It's more of just trying to figure out how we can provide the best fire service for this entire area.
You work at the state office building?
No. I work for an accounting firm, yeah.
I worked in Carmel, Zionsville, Noblesville, houses stacked on top of each other, every road repaved every 3 years. I'll tell you something, they don't produce enough food up there to feed themselves. It's done right here. And until you figure out that you got 5,000 acres in crops and no houses on it, or more acres in crop, there's not enough population, not enough tax base to do what they do. And they don't know what's going on. It's just a fact. They think it all comes from Kroger's, and it doesn't. Huh?
Good point, he doesn't.
Most of us don't want to live in Carmel. We don't want that kind of I came from there. I don't want to, I'd stay there. But we need more people paying taxes. We need more homeowners. Yeah, I mean, you can't squeeze blood from a turnip. It's impossible. But you're right, they have more people in one town than we have in our entire county.
When I built my house in Harrison Township in '78, Alton Cooper tore down 5 houses that very year, that I've seen all of them from my house, and he plowed them under. They all do that. There's no choice but to do that. Equipment, you can't turn around and go 3-acre field no more. It's just not that way. And the issue is, the people, and this has gone on forever in every state, they have no clue what's going on where everything's being grown. They just don't know. I'm done. I got my project.
Oh, boy.
Well, you guys can think about it, the township trustees, and if you think about it, if you guys want to get with us or talk to Bakersfield yourself, you guys have my phone number. I do want to say one thing too. I mean, I appreciate Gosport Fire Department. I know they appreciate us too. We can't do it without them, and they can't do it without us. That's that fact, Brian?
Sure.
Your guys' tankers or trucks go down, who do you call?
You,
We're on standby for it. So that stuff's going on right now, and we do it all behind the scenes. So you guys are protected. So I just wanted to let that out there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, you said you had something to talk
Now,
about?
now you know why I don't come to meetings.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got a little project I want to do in town, I'll spell the name, come to ask, where the trailer was tore down, the Lee died, that water hydrant is now available, the water meter, because they're not gonna build no house back there, so my daughter bought the property. I'd like to run a water line over to that instead of running over to the one they got on 7th Street. Now, I can go to 7th Street if I have to, but it's like 4 or 5 times longer. And when I find out where all the water lines are, I like to make a sewer connection at that sewer line if it's deep enough. It may not be deep enough. I'd like to at least find out if it's deep enough. Because there is a sewer line on the back of the property that's pretty deep, but it's like 150 feet away. It's on the same piece of property. I just like to be able to look at it. I'm not gonna make no connections, no tie-ins. I just wanna see what's going on, make sure everything works before I do anything.
I don't have any problem with
Yeah, I'm just gonna do some measuring and
finding out.
labor work, stuff like that.
I know what they want, so as long as there's no obstruction and something else going on, but you need to find that out. So,
Yeah, because I bought Briggs' old place that they started tearing down, rebuilt it, and Mike Spray came out and marked that sewer line on Lafayette Street. But I've been told it's actually on 8th Avenue, 8th Street. I want to have a gas line run, and if that mark is not right, it's going to cause me some grief. So I just like to check into that too. It's just looking at stuff, not going to do no tearing up or anything.
I don't have a problem.
he needs to get with Ronnie and someone else and find out what their lines are. I don't know.
I don't either.
We might have to do a little digging to find out what's.
If you want to get with Ronnie or Troy or Vic.
Okay, I'll get with them this week, see their game plan.
Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
Make the motion. I'll make
He's
the
just
motion.
gonna explore on his own
It's
property.
okay with me.
Okay. All in
Bring
favor?
it up.
Aye.
See where it can hook up or whatever.
So,
He's gonna explore his own property.
Yeah.
Not tying in water or sewer.
Both.
Or it's both, right?
Both.
Water and
Water
sewer.
Do both,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I can go either direction. I can go towards back of the property to a deeper line. I can go to the easement, which is probably not as deep, but it may not be deep enough. The water lines is under pressure. I can go any place with it.
Right.
Anything else? Casey? You have it? Anything?
Tim wasn't able to make it walls,
Oh,
so I was gonna wait till he brought his paperwork.
oh, okay,
He just let me know on the way.
okay. All right. Is that it? Make a motion to adjourn?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye. Meeting over.
Aye.